What is going on, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. I hope you're having a great day just like I am. So I was inside typing out some notes for another video, and I had this colossal idea in my mind to make this one of just, I'm calling it Subaru 101, everything you need to know. So this is going to be a lot of information I'm going to be throwing at you guys. So I mean, if you're trying to take some notes, pay attention, I recommend doing so. But with that, let's just jump right into it. We're going to start this video off talking about the WRX and the STI because those are Subaru's flagship performance vehicles. The BRZ is also included in that, but for this segment of it, we are going to be leaving the BRZ out. So we're going to start off with the WRX, and I see this misrepresented all the time, but do you actually know what WRX stands for? I see it misrepresented as World Rallycross, World Rally Experimental, and both of those are not actually what it stands for. So WRX actually stands for World Rally X. The X is actually represented as a mathematical symbol that means infinite possibilities. So infinite possibilities with the car. And if you guys don't believe me, there's a statement down in the description below going to a NASIOC Form with a direct quote from someone at Subaru. Now STI, that's a pretty generic one that everyone should know. It's Subaru Technica International, which is Subaru's performance division of their headquarters. Subarus are not the best cars to shoot for high horsepower numbers unless you got some pretty deep pockets. Just keep in mind that Subarus are generally 4-cylinder turbocharged cars with the exception of the EZ30, the EG33, and a couple other 6-cylinder engines out there. So like I said, try to stay with me. We're going to be moving through this stuff real quick because I have a lot of information. I don't want to take up too much of your time. So remember that Subarus can get expensive pretty quick when it comes to modification, but just know those parts costs, they're actually pretty reasonably priced if you look at comparable platforms out on the market that compete against this car. But just remember, you got to pay to play when it comes to modification. Now we're going to talk about oil because I see this in almost everything that I see, and in comments, in forums, on Facebook. Oil. If you're new to Subarus, you don't know what oil to run, 5W30 or 5W40, whatever your tuner recommends. But if you are looking for some brands that I suggest going with that Subaru OEM. If you are trying to stay within your warranty, just have the dealer do it with the OEM oil. AMSOIL, Motul, Castrol. Those are a couple brands I recommend. If you do want to learn a lot more about oil, you can go back to my oil, what is the best oil video that we're doing with Blackstone Labs testing. So if you do want to learn more about the oil, link back over to that video. Now, when it comes to these cars, modification can be extremely addicting. I mean, that can be said about almost any car out on the market, but when it comes to Subaru specifically, you're always going to want a little bit more unless you have really good self-control, which clearly behind me, I do not. But you're always going to want more horsepower, better handling, stickier tires. The list can go on, and that parts cost can add up really quickly when it comes to Subarus. Now, since we're talking about the modification aspect of these cars, I do want to touch on this, is just tunes. Please, for the love of God, get a tune. You're gonna see parts from certain manufacturers out on the market that are gonna advertise you don't need a tune to install this part or install that part. Now you can throw on whatever you want on your car without throwing a tune on it, but you're not gonna see any gains. You can cause potential damage to the car. If you really want to throw that part on, just get a tune. At minimum, snag an Acessports, put an OTS tune on the car. Just don't run it on that stock map with whatever you're putting on there. Just don't do it. Sticking with the modification aspect of it, I do want to touch on longevity modifications if you are trying to jump on these cars and modify them. I mean, you guys, these are cheap insurance for longevity of the engine health. Grab yourself an air oil separator, grab yourself that cylinder 4 cooling mod, and grab yourself just at minimum a Killer Bee oil pickup. Those are just 3 mods that'll significantly increase the longevity of the engine as long as you're not like excessively beating on it every day, of course. Now, if you are new coming into the Subaru world and you've never had a turbocharged car before, I do suggest looking into the basics of a turbocharged car, maintenance aspects, how they work, how a turbo works, and just kind of some of the do's and don'ts of having a turbo car. You can cause some damage if you don't know what you're doing and you just look into it a little bit. I promise it'll save you some time. Now, I see this a lot also of just Subarus having a bad rap for being unreliable. I 100% disagree with that statement. Subarus can be extremely reliable cars when you care for them, maintain them, and take care of them. I promise you that flat engine will go a lot longer than you think it will as long as you take care of it. Just like anything else mechanical in the world, you gotta do basic stuff on it to keep it going. And also, don't try to push 400 or 500 horsepower on a stock block and expect it to hold and then get mad at the car if it blows up. I've said that multiple times before in the past. Just keep it on the noodle. The WRX and the STI both came from a rally heritage background, but just because they came from a rally heritage background does not mean it's a rally car. They are rally bred, as you see in a lot of Subaru marketing and affiliate marketing out there. But just keep in mind that the Subaru is no longer an off-the-lot rally car. Maybe in 2004, if you're going and picking up one of those older STIs way back in the day, you could take it out on the back roads and it would handle significantly better than any other car that you could buy. But just keep in mind, they're not rally cars right off the lot. So something I love about Subaru enthusiasts though is if you want a Subaru, you have a Subaru, you are probably a different type of enthusiast out there. If you look at most of the cars out on the market, they're either a V engine, inline engine, the list can go on. But Subarus, there's only two really weird engines I consider out there, and that's the Subaru with the flat engine, and Porsche for that matter, and Mazda with their rotaries. The rotaries and the flat engines, I feel like attract a different kind of enthusiast, and it creates an awesome community, but we'll get in that here shortly. So if you like Subarus, you're probably a different kind of enthusiast. But if you are new to Subarus, keep in mind that maintenance on these cars and just general installs are not always going to be the same when it comes to just playing with the engine. For example, if you are coming from an LS and then you're jumping over to an EJ or an FA engine, please keep in mind that it's an entirely different engine. You go to do spark plugs, they're not going to be up on top or off to the sides. They're literally going to be down on the sides. So if you are coming into the platform and you are new, just keep that in mind that things are going to be significantly different with engine design coming from a V or an inline over to a flat engine. But I promise you, it's not as bad as people make it out to be. It just takes a little learning curve. But since we talked about spark plugs, I do want to talk about maintenance. If you are new to these cars, jump in that glove box, grab that Subaru handbook, and learn the maintenance schedule for your car. I promise you, the longevity aspect of the car will come with that maintenance schedule, making sure that everything is done on time, properly, and accordingly. I've had a lot of Subarus in the past, and I'm just gonna come out and say it. I don't think Subaru is very, very good at one aspect of anything. I do think that Subarus are the Swiss Army knife of the car world. They are great cars at a lot of things, but they are not fantastic at one single event, aspect of driving, or motorsport. There are a lot of other competing cars out there that can beat these cars in a lot of different ways, but if you're looking for something that is overall a very good car in a lot of different ways, Subarus are the way to go for that, I promise you. Now, when it comes to the handling aspect of STIs, WRXs, any other Subaru out on the market, that all-wheel drive system is going to be a huge benefit to how the car is going to react in any situation that you're actually driving in. So if you don't know a lot about the Subaru all-wheel drive system, there's a lot of good videos out there that I suggest you jumping onto. I think Subaru USA has posted some on YouTube that are really good, just examples of how the all-wheel drive system works. And as an added benefit, if you are an STI owner, you do get that DCCD, which is a huge benefit to having the car. And if you don't know how to use that DCCD and you want to, I have another video I think I posted a couple days ago about that DCCD system that can really benefit you in learning how to use it. So let's tie back over to the modification aspect of these cars. Now, if you're not familiar with cob tuning, you're about to be very familiar with cob tuning, because we're going to talk about Acessports for a minute, or better known as anxiety ports. Take time to learn that anxiety port. It will be your best friend and your worst enemy when it comes to these cars. You're gonna be able to monitor absolutely everything that's going on with that ECU, with the car, and how it's reacting to everything. Say you're throwing some mods on there that you probably shouldn't be, your car is gonna tell you right away that you should probably get a tune. So just familiarize yourself with cob tuning, their access ports or anxiety ports, whatever you prefer to call them. But just don't freak out if you see some crazy numbers on there. Learn the values, learn what you're supposed to be monitoring, and keep an eye out for anything that might be detrimental. Now, since we're talking about the anxiety ports, I do want to talk about some feedback knock, because I see this everywhere. I promise you, -1.40, -2.80 on your WRX or your STI is not the end of the world, and it is completely normal. You will see feedback knock, or pinging as it is referred to in some of the other platforms, in almost any, well, in any engine that you see. I'm not really gonna define what pinging or pre-detonation or knock or false knock, feedback knock, any of that really is in this video, but I do have prior videos. If you guys are wanting to learn, you can jump back to those ones, and I go pretty in depth with a lot of this information. So you've almost made it entirely through the video. We only have 4 more points that we're going to be talking about. So something that I really love about Subaru is the community that comes with the car. The members of the Subaru community are extremely helpful. They're willing to go out on a limb for people. They're willing to provide you with information and give you the knowledge to be able to do a lot of this stuff on your own. Now, if you don't have a lot of Subaru friends in your area, I suggest jumping on Facebook, Instagram, or any other social platforms that you have near you to find just a local Subaru enthusiast group, because I promise you they are all over the country, and you can meet some really cool people and get some really good connections in the Subaru community when it comes to you needing help on your car. Like you guys know, I'm here for you guys to help answer some of the questions that you guys have and some of the struggles and challenges that you face, but it is becoming slowly increasingly more difficult to get back to everyone in a super timely manner, and I apologize about that. So I hope this video does help some of you with that. But you know, I'll always be here answering your guys' questions, so as always, feel free to reach out. But since we're talking about the Subaru community, I want to talk about forms. Something that comes with the Subaru community is the Bible. So we have a Subaru Bible. If you guys didn't know about this, or if you're new to the community, we have NASIOC, I got an STI, I want an STI. There's a whole bunch of forms out there, but I promise you, if you have any question regarding any topic, about any Subaru, if you go on NASIOC, you will find the answer you're looking for. There has been so much research, time, and just information put into this online Bible that you can find practically anything that you're looking for. So if you haven't checked out NASIOC before, one of the links I have down below covering some of the information and more information on this topic is a NASIOC one. Feel free to get yourself familiarized with that. Just get familiarized with it. So the last 2 points I have for you guys, one of them being insurance costs. So a lot of people come into the Subaru world not knowing what the insurance cost is. Yes, the WRX and the STI are both sedans, but that does not always mean the insurance is going to be cheap. So on average, you're looking at about $1,850 every 6 months for full coverage insurance. This is an average. Your personal insurance will vary on your driving history, your marital status, your age, your gender, all these other factors that go into it. But on average, you're looking at about $1,850 every 6 months, which breaks out to about $310 per month. So just keep in mind that you are going to have a little bit higher of an insurance premium on a Subaru than you are in some of the other cars out there. So the last point that I want to touch on, because I wanted to save this one for last, is just the safety aspect of Subaru. So Subaru is not one to put safety on the back seat when it comes to their cars. They always have safety high on their minds, and you'll hear a lot of owners' stories out there who have unfortunately had to deal with some of that, but generally they always come out all right, because Subaru always puts that safety as a very high priority on their list. Subaru is consistently on the IIHS list also for their awards, and if you don't know what that stands for, it's the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety. So super safe car out there for you guys. But this is really going to cover all the topics of just the general FAQs, Subaru 101. Congratulations, you've graduated from the course. Now let's wrap this video up. All right, you guys, there you have it. So I just threw a lot of information out for you guys, and I really hope that this video helped clear up some of the ambiguity and questions that you may have had that I haven't been able to answer or get back to you guys on quite yet. So if you guys liked the video, you know what to do. Go ahead, smash that little thumbs up button and turn it blue, just like the turd behind me. Ooh. And if you're not already subscribed to the channel and you want to be, let's go ahead and do this top right corner, or my right, your left corner tonight. And with that, I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out, homies. Woo!